Okay, and we're live. All right, my friends and gems. So let's go ahead and make it a go. Real briefly, just want to share with you guys that tomorrow at 2 p.m. we'll be on. We will be talking about this latest discovery in reverse aging at 2 p.m. Pacific time. Be sure to join us. You can call or text this number for the meeting ID, or you can just jot it down. Meeting ID 714-794-5626. Just go to zoom.us. And then when it asks, you just join. When it asks you for a meeting ID, you enter that number, and then you'll be in the Zoom and you'll be able to ask questions. All right, so we are going to stop this screen share, and now we are going to go to the other screen because we are going to talk about GHKCU today and copper peptide and the findings that Dr. Loren Pickart, as you're well aware, back in 73, he discovered that GHKCU copper peptide activated a third of previously dormant master cells in the body, turning the genes to a younger cell, healthier state. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that information here. Let me see if this is sharing properly. Looks like this is working much better now because we had to restart this. And here it is. Here's his website, reverseagingwithghk.com. I don't need all this nonsense right now with you guys. Go ahead and take off all this technical stuff that we really don't need. All right, so here we go. So GHKU, that is an extraordinary discovery that he was able to share with us. He is still alive. He's still doing quite well, I might add. And it says here, he's the one who discovered that GHKCU and GHK basically has many biological effects. So if you look down here, it tells you some of the benefits that you can get. So I'm going to go ahead and share this with you guys. So for skin and hair, it says GHK was first studied for wound healing in 1983. That's 10 years after the discovery. And later for its effect on skin and hair. And in many controlled peer-reviewed published articles, GHK was found to tighten, loosen skin. Who would not want that? Thicken older skin, repair protective skin barrier proteins, improve skin firmness, elasticity, and clarity, reduce fine lines, depth of wrinkles, and overall appearance, smooth rough skin, reduce photo damage, mottled hyperpigmentation, skin spots and lesions, improve overall appearance, protect skin cells from UV radiation, increase hair growth and thickness, enlarge hair follicle size, accelerated wound healing, but better when used in liposomes due to its sensitivity to carboxypeptidase breakdown effects. Okay, so let's continue on here. Lung protection. We're going to go on the left column and then we'll go to the right. So for lung protection, it says topped 1,309 bioactive compounds as Broad Institute computer recommended molecule for treatment of basically COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. It actually restored healthy function in COPD affected cells at 10 nanomolar, nanomolar being a unit of measurement. It's like saying inches. And it says protected lung cells from damage by bleomycin and lipopolysaccharide-induced injury. In fetal lung cells, GHK at concentrations of 0.1, 1.0, and 10 nanomolar produced dose-response changes in 329 human fetal lung genes of the extracellular matrix. Pretty impressive results. Brain and nerves. Altered expression of human genes, importance in neuron function by 50% plus or minus, with 408 up and 230 down. Wow. So the genetic expression of genes, it was 50% plus or minus, and it was 408 were upregulated and 230 were downregulated. That's pretty awesome. Induced strong anti-anxiety and anti-aggression effects in rats within 12 minutes. That's like really impressive. 12 minutes, that's not very long. At a weight equivalent of 35 micrograms and 70 kilograms in humans. I'd have to translate. I wonder how many 70 kilograms in humans. It's probably like, if I had to guess, I'd say it's maybe 150 pounds, but really don't know. So let's find out. 70 kilograms converted to pounds is 154. So I wasn't that far off. I said 150 pounds. It's 154 pounds. Impressive. Induced anti-pain activity in rats within 12 minutes and alleviated neuronal apoptosis, that's like death of nerves, to intracerebral hemorrhage. Wow. So this is telling us that people, or it appears that maybe in rats that had a brain bleed and they were having cell death from the brain bleed, because intracerebral hemorrhaging is inside your brain, you have hemorrhaging. And so then you have the death of the neurons due to this bleeding, and it alleviated that, it says here in this study. So now it's used clinically in humans for the treatment of damaged spinal segments in the neck. We've seen that in our previous shows here, right? Treatment was for 20 days with daily injection of 0.25 milligrams of GHKCU in the skin around the damaged area. The cost of GHKCU is about 0.01 a milligram. Wow, it's 1 cent.
Yeah.
That's amazing for a milligram. Okay, so let's see on the right column. Benefits for anti-cancer actions. So topped 1,309 bioactive compounds as the Broad Institute computer recommended molecule for the treatment of human metastatic colon cancer. So GHK at 1 nanomolar reset the programmed cell death. Wow. System in human cancer cells, human neuroblastoma, leukemia, and breast cancer, but did not affect healthy cells. GHK copper plus ascorbic acid. Ascorbic acid is a form of vitamin C, suppressed sarcoma in mice. Pretty cool. GHK inhibited NFKB. I don't know what that is. P65. That's not too far from the P63 protein, so I'm going to have to look that up. It says, which is believed to promote cancer growth. Interesting. And it repaired damaged DNA at cellular level at 1 nanomolar, 47 genes up, 5 genes down. GHK copper induced cell differentiation, and it reset 84 genes to growth inhibition or cancer inhibition. So 84 genes were reset so that cancer would not multiply and grow. That is really significant. So
very, very significant.
very, very significant. In fact, somebody asked me for some of this information, just so happens, and interesting. So antioxidant, anti-inflammatories. So it increased SOD1 activity, suppressed toxic products of lipid oxidation, alpha beta 4 hydroxy, trans 2, non-nil, and acrolein peroxyl. We're getting into kind of some technical stuff, but it's giving you what the specifics are here. A molecule which is believed to be a primary cause of many diseases of aging. And it completely blocked copper 2 and oxidation of low-density lipoproteins, while SOD1 gave only 20% blocking. So it's just showing how GHK is more effective than SOD1 to be specific. Blocked release of oxidizing iron from ferritin. Okay. Stem cells and other actions. It caused adults MCS stem cells to produce more growth factors, increased stem cell differentiation. It enhanced activity of alginate hydrogels for human cord blood. Oh, wow. MCS stem cell osteogenesis. And then it has additional actions of GHK, increased the healing of many tissues, skin, stomach, intestine lining, bone tissue. It's strongly chemo-attracted capillary cells, mast cells, and macrophages. Strongly activates genes of the ubiquitin proteasome system used for cell cleansing, 41 up, 1 down. blocked cortisone's anti-regeneration. So it facilitated regeneration, suppressed the insulin and insulin-like system that reduces lifespan in roundworms. So that means it helps, if it's reducing the lifespan of roundworms, it's helping purge the roundworms, which is pretty awesome. Reduced fibrinogen synthesis. So for people who have a tendency to clot and have to take blood thinners, guess what? This is good news because fibrinogen levels are the top predictor of cardiovascular heart disease because, of course, that causes blockages in the arteries and in the walls of veins as well as vessels and so forth. Increased myostatin gene expression 9.4, almost tenfold. That's really amazing. Myostatin inhibits heart failure. So this is showing us like how important it is that we're wearing these stem cell activation patches, which we're not allowed to call them stem cell activation patches anymore. So cancel that from this. We used to be able to up until last August, actually December 31st was the cutoff. And now we can call them just phototherapy patches or cell activation patches, okay? But our patches do activate GHK copper peptide, which is how we turn on those master smart cells. So this is a great question. I'm still getting a little feedback, so I'm going to have to report this to Zoom to their tech support because we shouldn't have any feedback. Anyhow, where did GHK come from? And what does GHK do? It was a great question, wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. Very good.
So it appears to be part of a previously unknown system that adjusts the body to a state best suited for certain conditions, such as good health, pregnancy, growth, cold weather, starvation, infections, aggressions to fight off animal attacks, etc. GHK is too small to carry any significant information, so the general pattern of gene expression of up or down must be present in the genes by modifications of proteins and RNA around the gene. So the GHK intensifies the effect. There must be several of such signals in addition to GHK. GHK probably originated from an ancient marine protective system that protected cells against free toxic copper and was swept into mammals on the tides of evolution. It predates modern growth factors and cytokines. GHK aids differentiation of Ascaris roundworms. Roundworms are one of the most ancient animals, arriving about 1 billion years ago. And ever since, they've been plaguing humans and all mammals. They plague human beings as well as mammals. They don't bother fish, of course, but they do bother all other mammals. And I would say even some aves, some types of birds. Barnacles date back 400 million years, and GHK promotes their differentiation and settlement on surfaces. So one of the questions people ask is, how can GHK have such diverse actions such as healing, anti-cancer, anti-anxiety, COPD, cell repair? Well, the answer is simple, it says here. During the course of evolution, various genes became associated with various peptides, proteins, and the RNA molecules that modulate their expression for optimal animal survival. So the piano key theory of human aging. So how to reduce the disease of human aging with GHK? CU, the main cause of human aging appears to be that the genes lose their optimal pattern of up and down settings, age 20, 25. And this is like piano keys. So when the piano is new, it plays beautiful music. But with time, the piano keys lose their proper tuning as the music is imperfect. Likewise, with time, human genes lose their youthful settings and the disease and conditions of aging set in. GHK, which was discovered during biochemical studies of human aging, resets human genes to a younger and healthier condition. Most current theories and therapies to treat disease tend to target only one biochemical reaction or pathway. But for human aging, our data finds that we must think of simultaneously resetting hundreds or thousands of genes to protect at-risk tissues and organs. GHK may be a major step towards this resetting goal. So as you can see, there's a lot of publications here that for those of us who like to neuro nerd down and read up a whole bunch, you can read all these other different reports and studies that are right here. But the bottom line is that GHK reduces abnormal growths, it slows down diseases, and it resets your body. And we are fortunate that we have these phototherapy patches that activate it's not putting GHK-Cu copper peptide into us, it is activating our original GHK-Cu copper peptide, which is what turns on 1/3 of our previously dormant cells. So rather than get into this next section, we're about 40 minutes in here, it's pretty heady information, but it does, for those of you who want to kind of go in deeper, I might do another episode where we go into this section here where we talk about reducing the disease of human aging, because they're more and more longevity and reverse aging experts, as well as biohacking experts, are talking about aging as a disease. I don't know that I would concur with them that aging is a disease, because not all animals age, but most of them do. Just about all life on the planet ages with time. To say that that is a disease, I think is kind of a misnomer. However, it is the decay and the deterioration of cells in the organism, in the body, that creates that aging effect. So as we have more oxidative stress, then we have more damaged cells, more damaged tissue, more damaged tissue, more damaged organs, more damaged organ systems. And sometimes that spreads to not just one organ or organ system. As it moves to other organs, then it affects other organs and other organ systems, which is going to, of course, grow the destruction at that level, which is going to cause aging, right? So, and it is a domino effect. So some of you may agree, some of you may disagree, whichever side of the fence you're on. I would love to open up a discussion. You can just put your comments here in this YouTube channel, and we'll be definitely having this discussion, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that I might, that's within my pay grade, so to speak. Anything I don't have the answers to. We have over 1,000 doctors, and Dr. Stacey and I are partners in her group on her team. There's over 1,000 doctors and holistic care practitioners, not to mention all the literature and resources that we have at our fingertips. We're bound to get someone who can get us to the bottom line and give us a response. I can always reach out, of course, to some of my mentors as well. So
there's you disappeared there for a few minutes.
Oh, really? So yeah, it's like the connection is less than desirable tonight. Not
very, very much a lot of static on your voice and everything. So we'll just keep going.
Yeah, so yes, hopefully the YouTube did not drop off. I'm not sure. We'll have to see the replay of that. But since this is a little staticky today, more so than normal, I'm glad that we were able to connect to YouTube, but we're going to call it a wrap now. And now I'm starting to get that feedback again. So I'm not sure why that is. So we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah, because it's everybody's stopping.
Yeah, the connection doesn't seem to be very good. And so it seems like it's kind of coming in a little garbled. So we're going to wrap it up. We'll see how it sounds. If it's too garbled and too difficult to understand, I might have to delete it. But for now, we're going to call it an end. And it's just right after sunset. You can see it's now dusk, which is kind of cool. So thank you, my friends and gems, for tuning in. Thank you, my co-host, Carol, for being here tonight. And we'll see you guys tomorrow at 2 p.m. Like I mentioned before. Tune in, tap in, turn on to our 2 p.m. Zoom. Meeting ID, as mentioned before, is 714-794-5626. We're going to be on at 2 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Mountain, 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern. Would love to see you on so that you can learn about this life-saving technology. Until then, ciao.